Hey, we're back. I'm Amy. I'm a psychotherapist with over 35 years of experience and have had MS, multiple sclerosis, for the last 30 of those. And I'm here with my friend Buck that I've known since I was in seventh grade or something crazy like that. 50 years. Buck, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Buck. I've been in therapy or psychiatry since I was in fourth grade, under psychiatric care, and I have a new psychiatrist, and I discovered that I'm bipolar, and I've been meeting with my psychiatrist and have the right meds now for the first time. So, before we begin our discussion on the holidays, we like to talk about what was our dysfunction of the week. So I'm going to ask Amy what her dysfunction was.
Well, mine is really silly, but is very much related to MS. But I was putting on my shirt the other day, and it's always kind of an ordeal because I can't feel my fingers on this hand so much, so I can't always tell that I got my arm in the sleeve correctly. So I'm putting on my shirt, and it's taking forever. I have to put this in, and I thought this would be so much easier if I was sitting down because I'm standing up doing this the whole time. And I was like, okay, I have to weigh out, is it easier to just continue to struggle with this shirt until I get it on standing up, or to stop everything and walk over to somewhere where I can sit? And I contemplated that for so long that I finally got my shirt on without sitting down. But that was kind of a crazy thing. Like, why didn't I just like take my clothes over to where I could sit to put them on? But no, I have to do everything the hard way. That's my issue.
Wow.
So it's really silly.
Yeah.
It's dumb, but it's it's a thing of like, I'm gonna do it. I get like kind of stubborn about it. Like, there's gonna be a time where I'm not gonna be able to do a lot of these things, so I'm gonna do them now,
Right.
even if stupid thing. Like, why didn't I save my energy for standing up to cook or something? So that's my dysfunctional thinking.
Wow.
So
Well, mine was I had to go and do blood work on Monday, and it's in a psychiatric facility, so everyone in there doing blood is under some sort of psychiatric care, and I. Uh, I kind of don't know how to react because some of them are, obviously they're in really bad shape. Um, but I sat next to a woman because it was the only seat who offered me a piece of toilet paper for my nose, which wasn't running, but she offered me a piece of toilet paper.
just
And
in case.
I was going crazy because they were playing Christmas music from a radio station, and it was just constant Christmas music, which, I don't do well during the holiday seasons. And it was really loud. And then the Adagio came on. And so
Yeah.
the woman with the toilet paper was going bloop, 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 da,
Nice.
da, 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 da. And I was like, I thought that I was losing my mind. Meanwhile, people had gone in to do blood, and there were other seats that I could have just moved away, but I didn't want her to feel weird
Yeah.
that I moved away. So I continued to
Right.
sit by her while she was going bloop, 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 bloop,
You
bloop,
should have
bloop.
joined in. Do some harmony.
I just don't know when that became a Christmas song or a wedding
Yeah,
song. I don't know when it became a wedding song
yeah.
or a Christmas song, but
I don't
you
know.
know, and for a radio station to be playing it next to Jingle Bell Rock is just
It's
beyond.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I want to talk a little bit before we begin our session on the holidays about it's, this is a real psychiatrist and it's a real therapy session. It's not like usual in the US where you walk in and they just give you a prescription for something. And they say, how are your meds working? And they look at your blood work and then they just
Yeah. Yeah.
prescribe something. You don't really have a therapy appointment. He
Right.
really is a therapist too.
Yeah.
And I
No,
think,
there are some psychiatrists who do therapy, not that many, but there are a few.
Well, I think it's because he's a resident too.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
a resident, so he has to.
He's doing everything right.
Yeah, and he's really cute, and he's on rotation, and so he wants to. His rotation ends the beginning of February, so he wants to get in, I guess, as many patient evaluations as possible. I don't know. So he wants to be very thorough. But the thing is, when you know, after an hour, it's like an hour and 15 minutes. I feel anxious because I let stuff out. Do
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? You
yeah.
feel like you talk too much or you let stuff out and you disclose things that are going to make you vulnerable. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Have you
I
ever had
think that's a lot of people who have anxiety feel like they don't want to tell things because they don't want them to get used against them,
right,
you
right,
know? And that's, I've never heard anybody say that who didn't have some anxiety,
right.
a disorder,
Yeah, I
some
mean, I
sort.
was talking about something, I can't remember exactly what it was, and boy, he just started scribbling away.
Hmm.
And he's like, "How often do you feel that?" And I was like, "Whoa, it's not a big thing." It was just. But he really like started writing and stuff,
Yeah.
and really scribbling away, and just how often do you feel that? How often does that occur? And I was like, I got kind of scared.
That's what happens when you have somebody who hasn't been doing this for a while.
Yeah,
Because I was gonna say I'm gonna guarantee that if it's somebody who got a few years of experience, there's very few things that you could say that would freak somebody out.
yeah,
I've heard so many things that like the stuff that you would say. I mean, I know the things that you would say would not freak me out even a little.
yeah.
You know.
Well, I don't know if
So,
it freaked him out, but he just started
oh right.
just
Well, he
writing.
was trying to remember stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was really. And I was just like kind of freaked out by the whole thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I wanted to say it's not a big thing. This is
Right.
not the main thing.
That
This,
isn't important
yeah,
in my
but
world. Yeah.
it was in his mind. So then I was like, you're
What's
not
in his mind is he doesn't want to miss something.
right. And I said to myself, you're not the psychiatrist, so maybe it is
Right.
important. Maybe that's something that is a telltale sign, you know, so of something else. So I just kind of let it go. But I felt when I left more anxious, like I had said too
Yeah.
much, that I had disclosed too much, and that, like you said,
Yeah.
could be used against me. Not that he would do that. Why would he do
No.
that?
Mm-mm.
He doesn't really even know me.
Yeah.
But
Well, did he like spend a little bit of time at the end doing a debriefing, just kind of going over things and saying what he thought or what you might want to work on or ask you what you want to work on or any of that kind of stuff?
no, I mean, in the new year, I'm going to try to get a therapist. And he said, you
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
have you tried to get a therapist? And I said, no, because it's Christmas time and nobody's
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with
You were
that.
trying to get a psychiatrist so you could get your meds straightened out
Yeah,
first.
yeah. So I wanted
Yeah.
to get that done, and I said, then I'll get a therapist, on sliding scale. And so he was like, yeah, you need to do that. And has the bipolar group called you? And so he said, because you need to talk about things, and I'm only here to the beginning of February, so I see him beginning of January again.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm doing therapy sessions with him, so that
Right.
does help. That really does help.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to know if it's normal to feel weird after disclosing
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It is. And you know what I usually like I try not to make it be the first thing that we do and I try not to make it be the last thing that we do because once I get to like the heart of the trauma then I want to kind of help the person be able to like carry it over until next week without feeling weird
Right,
like you are.
right,
You know, so and that once again that's something that I do because I've done it wrong in the past many times, or I've done it in a way that wasn't comfortable for them or me in the past, where I've
okay,
like I want to hear about the trauma and that's the very last thing and then bye bye instead of like
yeah,
let's debrief a little bit, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I mean
I guess he didn't
it's
really debrief. Didn't
yeah,
really debrief.
yeah, because
So
you wouldn't, you don't necessarily, not everybody needs it, but it doesn't matter. I would do it no matter what, because some people do and some people don't, and it doesn't hurt ever,
Yeah.
to do a little bit of that. Or, and just to start, like at the end of sessions, a lot of times I'll be like, okay, we've been talking about the heavy stuff. Then I'll go like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Or,
Right.
whatever, just something that's like not loaded, something
Right.
that's just, I mean, if that would be something that'd be loaded for somebody, I wouldn't ask that. I would ask like, do you have, you're gonna make something yummy for lunch, or
Right.
whatever, and try to make sure that there's something in their mind besides the issue when they leave.
Right.
You know,
No, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
yeah,
All right. So today you wanted to talk about how to survive
yeah,
the holidays, how to
yeah,
kind of take care of yourself first,
yeah,
and whether or not you celebrate or not. This is a time where a lot of people go through difficult times with their family. Sometimes families
yeah,
getting together can be difficult. People
right,
that don't have anyone, um, people that just get seasonal depression, you know.
right,
So, how to deal with all of that? So, do you want to start
or
off
at
with
least like, help
some
out a
tips?
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think I was like thinking of this one sort of last, but I kind of think this is the main one to do, is to, if you celebrate the holiday, to think about what the reason is for the celebration for yourself, and not that anybody can tell you. No one, like seeing signs that say Jesus is the reason for the season or whatever. It's like, really, it's not. Like consumerism is the reason for the season.
Right.
but for me, the reason is, I mean, some of it's to celebrate, because obviously I come from a long line of ministers, and so I can't not think that way. But the most of it is like to just be able to be with people that I love, and to enjoy company, and and to give from my heart,
Right.
give to people that I love too. Um, so that's, to me, I think that's, keep that in mind. Like, what are you doing this season? What is your purpose for celebrating or not celebrating, for whatever reason, And it
Right.
doesn't, like, once again, it doesn't have to be religious. Most of Christmas isn't religious anyway. I mean, and for some people, maybe the reason is because they want to decorate their house to the nines. Maybe that's
Right.
what they love the most. But find the thing that you love the most about the season, and focus on that, and don't worry about the other stuff. If you don't want to send Christmas cards, don't send the Christmas cards. If that's not something that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy buying gifts for people, don't buy gifts. I mean, and if you can't afford gifts, don't buy gifts. you know,
Right.
give people a gift of your time, or food, or something that feels more from your heart.
Right.
So I think that's one of the main things. Do you have one that you kind of subscribe to or ascribe to?
Well, I don't celebrate. I kind of like I said, when I was barraged with Christmas music, it made me kind of crazy. I felt like I didn't have a choice. I couldn't leave the room waiting to get my
Right,
blood done, and I just felt
right,
trapped. Um,
yeah,
I usually like Christmas music, but not that loud and in a closed space. Um,
yeah,
I try to not celebrate, not have anything to do with it. No gifts, no decorations. I let my ex buy a little. You would like this. We bought it in a Goodwill. It's a
yeah.
ceramic little Christmas tree that
Perfect.
has a music box that plays Jingle Bells really, really slow. There's something wrong with the music box itself, so it's kind of a
Well,
scary
it's like
tree.
dirge jingle bells. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
jingle bells
really
on a minor key or something.
it's creepy. So he doesn't play that. But that's really all the Christmas decorations. There's some snowflake lights, but that's it. Because I don't really want a Christmas tree throughout the fake one he had
Yeah,
last year, which looked like a car ran over it. And we
this
just
one's fake. Just by
yeah,
the way.
it's nice though. It's big.
Yeah,
It's big.
yeah.
And you
It
enjoy
looks big
and
because this house is, huh?
you enjoy celebrating. So
Yeah, yeah.
you
And I have a
enjoy
lot of like
decorating the
special
tree.
ornaments and stuff.
Yeah.
That's because most of the ornaments are like special ornaments, special to me.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
go ahead.
I used to have ornaments, and when I lived in New
Yeah,
Jersey, New York, I had ornaments. I had special ornaments. I still had the Capitol caroling ornaments. You
yeah,
know, all of
yeah.
the special ornaments that were given to me by different friends and not family.
Right.
So,
Yeah, not
but
so much. Yeah.
but I think that people get you see it online. People are like, I don't have anybody to spend Christmas with. I don't really, and I thought, why do you have to have somebody? I mean, why
Yeah.
not? Why do you need to celebrate it at all? If you're putting
Right.
all this pressure on yourself to have a Merry Christmas. When they say Merry Christmas, you're putting pressure on people to have a
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. And so people get really lonely because they don't have necessarily friends and family. Sometimes they don't have
Right.
anybody. But
Right.
that's okay. I mean, you could make yourself your own little dinner and watch Christmas movies
Yeah.
if you want
Yeah.
to do that. But if you don't, you could just ignore it because it's just a made up day.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just a made up day.
Yeah.
So,
We've made it into something that it never was meant to be, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like now people have, like I was talking about before, people have like competitions to see who can decorate their house the most ridiculously or
right,
whatever.
right,
So it's not, it's like all of that stuff is made up and you can decide how you want to do it. Plus, like most of the world doesn't celebrate it, I mean,
right,
like Buddhists and everybody in the United States has to celebrate it in terms of like having to be around all of it all the time and having the day be like a day off. And but it's not, it's never because, regardless of what people say, it's not really because of celebrating some something religious for
right,
most people, you know.
right.
So you don't have to. We don't. It's not an obligation.
Yeah.
Enjoy
And
your
I
day
think
off.
that society, the internet puts pressure on you, but I think people put pressure on themselves to say, I have to have a
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas or a memorable Christmas. And you
Yeah.
don't. You
Yeah.
don't. There's marathons of friends and stuff like that. You know, you could
Yeah.
just watch that. You could just watch
Right.
that, have a decent dinner, or watch Christmas movies if you want. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Buy yourself a nice Christmas. Buy
yeah,
yourself presents and wrap them up and ooh and ah
right,
over them when you open them,
right.
and
It's just
enjoy it,
one day. Yeah, it's just
Yep.
one day and it's a made
Yeah,
up
it's
day.
just one day. Yep.
So it's a made up day. So
Yeah.
don't put pressure on yourself.
Right.
Let yourself just kind of either ignore it or celebrate it yourself or not
Yeah. Find your own
celebrate it.
celebration. It's kind of
Find
like
your
a Seinfeld Festivus for the rest of us, you know,
right,
like find your own Festivus.
right,
And
right,
and the other thing is, if you are going to celebrate it, if that is something you do, if you like the party circuit, if you do all that kind of stuff, make sure you take good care of yourself, like your body, because
right,
a lot of times after the holidays, people have holiday letdown or regrets because they've way overindulged or they've spent too much. So, set a limit on how much you're going to eat and drink when you go out, and have you can eat everything that you want, is but just like think about portion control. So
right,
instead of a piece of pumpkin pie and a piece of pecan pie, so have half a piece of each or
right,
something like that.
right,
Because and that's what I did at Thanksgiving. I said I'm having one serving of I'm not going to fill my plate a second time, on no matter how much I'm enjoying it, because it
right,
will be too much otherwise. So I took normal portions of things. Uh, Maybe a little bit extra of things that I don't usually get to eat, like dressing and cranberry sauce
right,
and stuff like that. But not like huge portions, not like three spoonfuls of everything,
right.
And then when I was done, I was done, and that was it. And
Yeah,
one dessert, and that was all. And I felt so much better coming home after that meal than I would have if I would have had like extras of everything.
right,
So,
right.
so
Yeah, and then Christmas bleeds into the new year. So
yeah,
what I might do is my ex wants to go up north to see his cousin. So, and she lives in the middle of nowhere, and it's like plenty of snow, and there's bears and moose and stuff like that.
Neat.
So, I might actually go up there with him. I don't know. I don't want to be pressured into. They're kind of laid back. I've met them before, but they're kind of laid back. But I don't want to be pressured into like, outings for,
Right.
Christmas markets and stuff like that. I don't want to be pressured into that. So I might just stay home because I might just watch marathons of things or,
Yeah.
just kind of now
Yeah.
you can watch marathons of things anyway because they're streaming, but just
Yeah.
kind of ignore it. And then the New Year's comes along and we were thinking of staying through New Year's Day there, but I don't know. New Year's isn't like a thing for me. I mean, I might watch it on TV, but it's another year, and you feel the pressure to, make your life better this year, and
Right.
you know, make resolutions and things like that. And you wanted to
Yep.
talk about that,
Yeah. Because it's always felt like on the first of the new year, it's like, okay, everything is changing right now. Right now, everything. I'm going to be
right?
totally different as of right this minute after I eat that cookie. or
Right.
or after I, have that drink or whatever it is that you're saying you're going to give up on. So instead of like putting pressure on yourself to like totally make a resolution and make everything different, think about it as like, what do you want to have as your goal for the year? And maybe it's a goal that you're not going to make until the middle of the year or whenever. It's okay. It can be a goal that you may or may not match, or meet, but
Right.
you can, think about it differently than like, I have to be different right now. And if I mess
Right.
up, then I've screwed up my whole
Yeah.
resolution, you
When I
know?
was running gyms, the time to put sales on
Hmm.
was and packages for trainers was January and
Yep.
February. So
Yep.
people were making resolutions that they were going to go to the gym. And what would usually happen is they would buy a year membership, which was great for us, but they would only last maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they'd have a
Yep.
trainer and they were trying to come every day. And the thing is, you can't just change and come every day because
Right.
you're not going to like it. It's going to seem
Right.
like, you know,
It's going to be hard. Yeah.
it's gonna seem like a task that you have to do, and you're not
Right.
gonna like it. But if you can say, I'm gonna start going to the gym, I don't necessarily need a trainer, or I need a trainer for like 3 sessions so I know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
which is a good idea. Then you know, just start going.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'd always say you want that summer body by May, so you need to start in January. So, but you don't have to go every day
No.
because you're going to hate it. If you go every
Yeah.
day, you're going to hate it. And you're going to
Yeah.
stop after 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You're just going to stop. And
Right.
meanwhile, we've got your year membership money
Yeah.
that you're not going to.
That happens in all kinds of places because I go to yoga pretty regularly, and I've been going for like many years now. But but on the first of the year, like you would go from having a studio that was maybe halfway full to like you can barely walk around in there. It's
Right,
at capacity on the first couple of weeks of January, and then by February it's back to the same. It's like,
right,
it doesn't take even 3 weeks. Sometimes it takes
right,
like maybe 2 sessions worth.
right,
So it's the same kind of thing. And I always say the hardest part of any gym membership or yoga membership is putting your shoes on and leaving your house.
right,
That's
right.
the hardest part.
It's
So
just,
think about it as like you don't have to like get yourself, like if you want to just roll out of bed and go, that's fine. Nobody cares how you look.
right.
So, but
No,
if
I
you
know,
if
I know.
don't put pressure on yourself about it.
Yeah. And in the winter, it's putting your boots on and taking your boots off and putting your
Yeah.
tennis shoes on and taking your
Yeah.
tennis shoes off, putting your boots back on, putting,
Yeah.
this is like it takes
That
20 minutes to get. I'm exhausted. Just,
yeah.
I'm loosening my boots to put them on and then tightening them up, tightening up the laces to put them, so I can walk
Yep.
in them, then go to the gym and loosen them again. And it's just like, oh my
And
God.
that's why I do Zoom yoga. Because all I have to do is walk into the next room and set my mat up.
Right. Yeah,
That's
that's true.
lovely. I know, but you can't do that. You
It's
can't like go lift weights, Zoom, you know.
no, no.
It
And
just doesn't work.
once I'm there, I'm glad I'm there,
Oh yeah.
And it's in the winter it's sometimes it's crowded, but it's usually less people because
Yeah.
people just tired of putting their boots on and they just don't want to
Yeah, it's a
go.
pain in the
So,
neck to go
yeah.
out in the snow and
Yeah.
yuckiness. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's been
it's
really
true.
cold here and snowy, so
Oh yeah.
people are really so it makes me want to go a little more. So, and I when I was talking to my psychiatrist, he said, "How is your gym?" And I said, "Well, I think the mood stabilizer is working because I'm going. I'm not just
Yeah.
staying in
Yeah.
bed or laying
Right.
on the
You don't
couch.
wake up and go, I don't want to go. You just do it.
I
Yeah.
just go." He said something. He
Right.
goes, "Because you want to go," and I said, "I don't always want to go." I said, "But I
But
don't have that deep depression." I said, "I think they're working because I don't have the deep depression. Do I
yeah.
feel like 100% better? No." I said, "But
But
I
you
don't have
feel
deep, deep, deep depression." You
and
know,
you feel like you can do things
right,
easier
right,
without having to
and
like make yourself do it as much.
yeah, and he upped my anti-anxiety. So
Good.
I hope that will help because most of the time, like when I was in the States last week, I I would have these not panic attacks, but they were panic. It was panic, and I felt
Yeah.
really uncomfortable. Like I
Yeah.
really needed to be somewhere away from people, and so I said, that's not working. And he goes, "Well, it's also the situation." He said,
Yeah.
you were under
Right.
stress, and I said, "That's true." I
And you're
said, "But
not
at
in
the
a
same
normal place.
I don't want to feel that stress, that
Yeah.
anxiety." So
Well,
he
and you
upped
might
my
have anyway, because everybody feels uncomfortable in a situation where you're not familiar and you're not sure what's going to happen. But the difference is the amount, that
yeah,
like for most people, it'd be like, oh, that's not very comfortable. I don't want to do that again. But when you have anxiety and depression, it feels like I've got to get out of here right now.
yeah,
I got to leave. Yeah.
yeah. So whether or not I go away, it's and I've been invited, well, through my ex, I've been invited to go to a couple of Christmas parties, and like what people should realize is, you don't have to go to these things. And if it's going to cause you stress and anxiety, if there's just a chance, maybe you shouldn't go. But I wanted to talk about what he said also as he said eventually with a therapist, he said, you're going to have exposure therapy, which is you're going to have to expose yourself to situations where
Yep.
you would become anxious because
Yep.
you're going to have to see the bad things. Because I was telling him that I keep having the mood stabilizer is working, but I don't think the anti-anxiety is working because I still have this feeling of doom that there's something
Yeah.
bad that's going to happen, that it's just around the corner. Like things are going not well, but things are going okay, so that means that something bad is going to happen, that something, I'm going to have some physical ailment or I'm going to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
um,
You're
some
waiting for
sort
the
of.
other shoe to drop, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, you're going to have exposure therapy so that you realize that something bad is not going to happen. That
Right.
I mean, I thought that
Yeah.
that was really interesting that he was talking
Yeah.
about that.
We use that a lot with like phobias. So like I have a kid who hates spiders or gets very phobic about spiders, like like panic attack and wants to leave. So we've been starting with like pictures of spiders, and then we're doing cute spiders. So like I have a spider puppet. So and she's like, I can manage the spider puppet, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then we do toy spiders, and then when some doctors just go straight to it, like there's a guy who does people who's afraid to fly, where they actually like go on a plane that's not, they don't leave. It's a fake mock up of a plane, and
Oh, okay.
then he actually takes them on a trip on a plane. So
Oh, wow.
there's people who just like say we're going to do it. And I had a
Yeah.
guy who was afraid of elevators, and so we went and rode the elevator up and down. several
Yeah.
times until he was, feeling better. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do
And
that
I
in
guess
conjunction with the EMDR sometimes too. So that's
with
eye
the
movement
MDR.
desensitization.
Oh,
EMDR is eye movement desensitization and uh, uh, I forget what the R stands for, but it's like reincorporating. That's not what it stands
right.
for. I'm having brain fart, but you do it's just moving your eyes back and forth, but like there's more to it than that. But and then you can do some exposure along with that. So
Yeah.
do a lot
Yeah.
of that. Yeah.
So part of me is thinking maybe I should go to one or two, one of the Christmas parties just to
Yeah.
be around people and to but I don't want to say we have to go because because
Yeah.
he enjoys himself. So I don't want to be the one to say I have to go because I can't take it
You
anymore.
know
And
what you could
so
say though is I'm really feeling tired and a little bit just headachy or whatever. And is there a place I could go lay down and excuse
yeah,
yourself
if
and
I
go lay
could,
down?
yeah, I guess I could
You
do
know?
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And nobody
and he was
questions that.
yeah. And he was saying, if you, when we go up north, if you don't feel comfortable, just say you want to go take a nap. You know,
Yeah.
he said
Yep.
there's no pressure to do anything. He said,
Right.
we're gonna, walk in the woods a lot. He said, but there's no pressure to do anything. So I don't know. I'll see how I feel. But I thought
Yeah.
the exposure therapy thing was very interesting. You
Yeah.
know, maybe
It's a good
just
way
to
to
expose
work on it.
ourselves but have a way out.
Right.
All right, so I think we
Yeah.
covered a lot of tips for how to
Yeah.
deal with the holidays and how to deal with the anxiety that the holidays cause.
Comes along.
Um, so whether or not you celebrate, enjoy the next couple of weeks. We'll be off, and I'm Buck.
I'm Amy, and we're
And
putting some fun back into our dysfunctional lives.
take care. Bye.
Hey, bye bye.